get started with the photo card holder, we are going to be doing a slip knot. So just hold the end of your yarn like this, pull out the longer end, insert your hook, pull out a loop and make a slip knot and tighten it. So we are going to do enough chains to have the length that is equal to the width of our card. So for reference, I'm going to be using this card right here, and we are going to chain enough till we have the length that is equal to the width of this card. So yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through, and keep chaining until you reach the length that is equal to the width of your card. So that is this length right here. So now as you can see, I have chained enough to reach the width of my card, and I'm going to be chaining 2 to 3 chains extra since we need space on both the sides so we can insert the card into the holder that we are crocheting. And I'm going to chain one. This is going to be the turning chain. Yarn over and insert your hook into the second chain. So skip the first chain and insert your hook into the second chain. Pull up a loop and 1/2 double crochet. We continue doing half double crochets across this row, and we chain one and turn. So the chain one that we did is just the turning chain. It's not considered as a stitch. So we're just gonna chain one, turn over and continue doing half double crochets for the entire row. So this is the back panel for the photo card holder that we will be crocheting. So for the back panel, you're just gonna crochet enough rows to reach the length of your photo card. So since this is the back panel, we are going to continue crocheting rows of half double crochet till we reach the length of our photo. So just continue doing rows of half double crochet till you have enough that can cover the entire photo. And for a new row, you're just going to chain one, turn your work, and continue doing half double crochets. And like I mentioned, the chain one is not a stitch, it's just a turning chain and it is not considered as a stitch. So I'm going to meet you once I'm done. So here I'm done crocheting enough rows to cover the length of my photo. So this is a comparatively bigger photo, but one advantage for this design is you can use it anywhere. You can use it as a back charm, or you can even use it to just maybe hang around your room, or any place that you would like, you can use it. So once you're done crocheting enough rows for the photo, so you see this tiny little space right here, the white spaces on both the sides. Now we are going to be crocheting those for our front. So I'm just going to chain one and fasten off. Now we are going to be crocheting the front of our holder. So just start with a slip knot again, and you're going to chain the exact number of chains that you did for your back. So I had done a total of 17 chains, so I'm going to be doing 17 chains for my front as well. Once you're done with the same number of chains, that is the number of chains that you did for your back panel, you have to do the same number for your front as well. I'm going to chain one, yarn over, and I'm going to do a half double crochet. So we are going to follow the same pattern for maybe 2 to 3 rows. So for most of the Polaroids, we have these white spaces in the bottom and white spaces at the side as well. So that is what we are going to be crocheting. So we're just going to do a row of half double crochets and do enough rows to cover this white space. You can do maybe 2 or 3 rows, it's completely up to you. So whichever photo you want to use, just do it to the measurement of that particular photo. So if your photo needs maybe 1 or 2 rows of half double crochet rows, then it's completely up to you. So once you're done with this, I'll show you how to crochet the side. So I'll meet you back once I'm done. So here I've done 3 rows for the bottom part, and now you're going to start crocheting just the side. So whichever side you end up on doesn't matter. I'm just going to chain one, turn my work, and I'm going to do half double crochet in 3 chains. So 1, 2, and once I'm done with this, normally we would continue the entire row, but I'm going to chain one, yarn over, turn my work, and do 3 half double crochets again. So you're going to continue building up the next rows like this. So you just have to continue as if you just have 3 stitches on your row. So you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and do 3 half double crochets. Now I have chosen to do 3 half double crochets, but how many you do is completely up to you. If you want to do 2 or 3 or more, completely up. So you can see that we are getting the shape right here. I'm going to continue building these rows up, and once I'm done with this side, I'm going to continue doing the same with this side as well. So in the last 3 stitches, I'm going to continue crocheting. So the last 1 or 2 rows, we're going to be doing complete rows since we want to have a proper ending for the front. So I'll show you how to do that as well. For now, just chain 1, turn your work, and do 3 half double crochets. 3 or 2, it's completely up to you. So the number of rows that you do for your front should be the same as your back. Since you're doing a sort of a gap in the center, and I've already done 3 rows before I started with the gap, and I want to do 2 rows in the end as the finishing for the front. So that's 5 rows. So I'll be doing 12 rows in the gap. So for the gap, we will be doing 12 rows on this side and 12 rows on this side. And then we'll be joining them together to do the last 2 rows. I'll show you how to do all that. But just remember that the number of rows that you do for your front and back should be the same. And the ones that you do for your gap, just subtract what you did for your bottom and what you want to do for your top. And this is how it looks. So when you put it against, you can see that I just have to do 2 more rows to reach the exact number of rows that I did for my back. So just to show you the calculation again as to the number of rows that you have to do for this particular side. So since I had done a total of 17 rows, I did 3 for the bottom and I want to do 2 for the top. So that's minus 5. So we are left with 12. So those many number of rows you have to do for this side. So for this side, we are going to get started by inserting our hook into this space right here. So the first stitch or the chain 1, the turning chain that we must have done, or the first stitch, you insert your hook there, you grab hold of your yarn and you just pull up a loop like this and chain 1. Now you're going to turn your work around. Since we had done 3 half double crochets here, we are going to be doing 3 here as well. So yarn over, insert the hook into the first stitch, yarn over and pull through and pull through. So now you're going to follow the same pattern as we did on this side. So in the 3 stitches, we are going to be doing 3 half double crochets. And then we chain 1, turn our work and continue doing half double crochets. So how for this side we did a total of 12 rows in this particular area. We are going to be doing 12 rows here as well. So when you place them, you will get 12 rows here as well, and then you will have a gap in the center where you can insert your photo. So I'll meet you once I'm done with the 12 rows. So here I'm done with the other side as well, and we are not going to fasten now, but we are going to chain 1 and we are going to start our last 2 rows. So the number of rows that you left at the end, whatever number it is, it's completely your choice. I have left 2 rows, so we're going to start crocheting these 2 rows. So first we are just going to crochet 3 half double crochets in the 3 stitches. Now once you're done with that, we are going to chain till we reach this end. So this is how you calculate the number of chains that you have to do. We had a total of 17 stitches. So 17 minus, we had done 3 stitches on this side and 3 on this. So that's 6. So we are left with 11. So we are going to chain 11. So this chain 11, as you can see, is enough to reach the other side. And this is how you calculate how many chains you have to do, since we have crocheted a few stitches on this side and few stitches on this side. And we are chaining just to cover up the gap. So once you're done with the chain 11, in the first stitch of the other side, we are going to be doing a slip stitch like this. So now to start the next row, we are basically going to be slip stitching in the next 2 stitches. So slip stitch and the last slip stitch as well. And now you can see that we have our stitch right here, and after you're done with the slip stitches you can chain one, turn your work, and we're going to do normal half double crochets into the three stitches, and we're going to be doing half double crochets on these chains as well. So just yarn over, insert the hook. So do a half double crochet in each one of these stitches till this end, and that will be your first row. And since I want to do two rows at the end, I'm going to finish my first row and do another. Depending on the number of rows you want to do, you can continue crocheting. Once you crochet through these chains for the next row, you'll have proper half double crochets. So just continue doing half double crochets and I'll meet you once I'm done. So here I'm done with the two rows and I'm just going to fasten off. And when you put the front and the back together, you can see that they align perfectly. And our next step is to stitch all these sides together. But remember not to stitch this side since we have to insert the photo from here. So just grab your needle, pull up the yarn, and you're just going to tie knots. And just make sure to align the rows perfectly before you start stitching. So I want this to be my top. So I'm going to start from this corner right here, and I insert my stitch into the first row and then the second, and I pull. Now continue doing this all across this side, this and these sides, and make sure that your work is aligned perfectly, and I'll meet you once I'm done stitching. So here I'm done with this photo card holder, and you can see that I can just very nicely insert the photo in. And this is how it looks in the end. Now I'm going to add a tiny bow detail over here. So for that I'll be using this red color yarn. So we're going to start with a slip knot. I'm just going to chain around 40 to 50, somewhere around there. This is just for a tiny bow detail that I want to do over here. But if you want, you can do the exact same pattern and make another back charm out of it. I'll show you how to do that as well. So here I've chained around 50 and I'm going to fasten off and just tighten this end. And once you have it tight enough, you're just going to trim it very close to the knot and do the same with the other end as well. Just fasten it and trim it very close to the end. And to tie the bow, I'm just going to make two bunny ears, cross them, pull out one side, and just adjust a little bit. So there you go. You have your bow ready. You can just stitch it on here. And if you don't want to have it on the photo card holder, you can use it as a bag charm. Just grab the bag of your choice, and I want the bow to be here. So just insert it like this. Do the same thing, bunny ears, and then you tie it off. And a little bit of adjusting. And there you go. So you can use this bow as a charm for your bag like this, or you can use it on the photo card holder to add a little bit detailing to it. So multi-purpose bow it is. This is how it looks once I have attached the tiny bow. And like I mentioned before, this does not have to be a back charm only. You can hang it on your wall for your photos, or you can do anything that you want with it that requires photos. So it's completely customizable and you can use it in any place that you want. This is how it looks once I've attached the bow. Now we need something to basically use this photo card holder as a back charm or even to hang it on your walls. It's completely up to you. So we're just going to be using the same yarn that we did for the entire holder. We insert our hook into the middle right here. So depending on the number of stitches, just insert your hook into the middle stitch and hold your yarn like this and pull up a loop. And we're just going to continue chaining till we have enough length to tie it onto your bag or even on your wall. So just continue chaining. To just secure this particular end, the yarn that we have left over, I'm just going to tie it like this so the chains don't come off, and you just have to continue chaining till you have enough length to tie it onto your bag or to hang it off a wall. And once you're done, you can just use it, and I'll show you how to tie it onto your bag. Once you have enough chains, make sure to crochet it long enough, since we are going to slip stitch it back here. So once you have enough chains, just insert your hook into the next stitch from where we started. So we started our chains in this stitch. So I'm going to insert the hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop and do a slip stitch, and then chain one and fasten off. So you see that I have enough length to tie it around. So when you're crocheting the chains, make sure you have double the length, since we are going to slip stitch back. So it makes the tie a little bit more sturdy, and you can just weave in these ends. And here we are done with the photo card holder as well. I want to crochet a pouch that can hold my AirPods, but you can make it of any size and you can make it to hold anything that you want. I'll be using this color. So we're going to get started with a slip knot. And I'm going to chain the width of the item that I want to store. So in this case, I want to store my AirPods. So I'm going to be chaining this length right here. That is the width of my AirPods. So here you can see that I've crocheted enough chains to reach the width of my AirPods, and I've kept a little bit extra since I want the AirPods to fit into the pouch perfectly. Chain one is a turning chain. Then I'm going to skip the first stitch from the hook and insert my hook into the next stitch right here. Pull up a loop and one half double crochet, and insert my hook into the next stitch and continue doing half double crochet all along this row. And you have to do enough rows to cover the front and the back of your AirPods and the width. So for this pouch, we're just going to be crocheting one big panel like this, and in the end we're just going to fold it into half. So instead of crocheting a front panel and then a back panel and then stitching them together, we're just going to be crocheting one big panel and folding it into half. So make sure you crochet enough rows to cover the front, the little width if you have any, and the back of any item that you want to store in this pouch. The design is completely up to you. The size is also completely up to you. You can chain as many chains as you want and you can crochet as many rows as you want. And I'll meet you once I'm done with the panel, and we're going to be crocheting a little rounded flap at the end. I'll show you how that is done. For now, just crochet this one big panel and we're going to fold it into half. So I'll meet you once I'm done. So here, as you can see, I've crocheted enough rows to cover the front of my AirPods, but the back is still left. So I'm going to crochet the exact number of rows to cover this as well. So when you're crocheting the rows, just keep measuring it against the object that you want to store to make sure you have the size right. And whenever you do that, you'll realize all the adjustments that you have to make. Like if you have to crochet more rows, or if you have to reduce the rows, or anything that you have to do with the size, you get to know once you keep placing your object against the pouch that you're making. And once we are done crocheting the number of rows, we are going to be folding it into half and stitching the edges. And I'll show you how to do that once I'm done crocheting enough rows to cover my AirPods. So here, as you can see, I am done crocheting enough rows to cover the AirPods. And just do the same with whatever object you want to store in this pouch. Just put it against, cover it like this, and see if you have enough to cover the sides and the top as well. And once you're done, we are going to chain one, but do not fasten off. So once you've reached enough rows to cover the object that you want to store in this pouch, on that row we are going to be placing a stitch marker, because after this row we are going to start the flap for the pouch. So we need to keep a track of when the body of the pouch is over, and we are going to make a small flap over here. So once you place the stitch marker, we are going to start with a little curved shape for the flap of the pouch. So we are going to be doing decreases on this row. So we do a decrease in the first two stitches and in the last two. And in between these, we'll be doing regular half double crochets. So for a decrease, just yarn over, insert your hook into the first stitch, yarn over and pull through, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through two loops, and yarn over and pull through all. Now you're going to do regular half double crochets all across except for the last two stitches, because in the last two stitches we are going to be crocheting the decrease stitch again. So here I'm left with the last two stitches. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook, pull up a loop, and then insert my hook into the last stitch, pull up a loop, and then pull through two and pull through three. So this is the pattern that you have to follow for the flap. So just do the decrease in the first two stitches and in the last two stitches. So here I'm done. So I'm going to fasten off, and the reason we place a stitch marker here is because that is how much of the pouch we are going to be stitching together. So this is where my stitch marker is. So I'm going to be stitching this side and this side together, and you can see that the flap is very small and tiny. I don't want it to be bigger than this. So I'm just going to be stitching these two sides, and then we're going to add a little bow detail over here in white color. I'll show you how to do the bow detail as well. So just align the rows properly. Grab your needle, insert it through the first stitch right here. Make sure you align them well and keep doing this till you reach the end here, and then do the same for this side as well, and I'll meet you once I'm done. So I added one additional row on the flap since I thought the flap was a little too small. So you can also do that. Just make sure that you put it together and you have enough rows for the flap as well. Now the chain that we did, so to insert the bow onto the pouch, we're first going to just see which row the flap is coming up to. So my flap is coming up to this row. So in this row, I'm going to insert my hook right here, and make sure you don't go through the back flap, just the front one. Hold on to your chains like this and just pull up a loop. Now do the same on the other side as well. So you can see that this overlaps here, and now on this side it's coming somewhat here. So I'm going to place my hook here and do the same. Hold on to the chains here, make sure you don't go through the back, and pull up a loop. Make sure not to lose this side. And here, once you're done, you can use this place to say store the AirPods. This last row of the flap right here, I'm going to insert my hook, pull up a loop on this side like this, and I'm going to do the same with the other side, exactly like this, and I can tie my bow here. So now don't worry, you don't have to use the hook every time. Normally you can just remove the bow like this, loosen it up a little, and store whatever you want here. And once you're done, you can just tighten the bow and make it like this. And make sure to have the chains long enough. That is the reason I said that your chain should be 50 to 55 stitches long. So you have enough room to loosen it up like this and store anything you want. And once you're done, you can just pull it up like this and tie a bow here. So you can just tie a knot here first, and then just tie the bow and just adjust it a little bit. And there you go. You have your cute little pouch ready. You can just weave in this end. But yes, there you go. You can make it as big as you want, as small as you want, and if you want to store things, you can just loosen it up like this, and you don't have to use a hook. You just use the hook to insert it for the first time, and then you can just loosen it up and store anything you want like this, and you can tighten it off like this. Now if you want to use this pouch as a back charm or to hang it anywhere, just grab your red yarn or the color that you have used for the pouch, and you're going to be inserting it into this corner right here. There is a corner of the pouch that you have stitched into. So this corner right here, I'm going to be inserting my hook, hold the red yarn like this and pull up a loop and chain. And then now you're going to continue chaining till you have enough chains to complete this particular circle right here. So just continue chaining. And here, once you have enough chains, you're just going to go into this corner, that is the opposite corner right here, and you're going to be doing a slip stitch. And this is how it looks once you're done. So you have a little hold here so you can tie it onto your bag or hang it anywhere. And you have a cute little bow here so you can actually tie the pouch. And there you go. You're done. You're gonna start off with a slip knot for the bow. So just hold the end of your yarn like this. Pull out the longer end and make a X like this. Insert your hook into the space and pull onto the second strand of yarn and just tighten it and then tighten it on the hook. So the basic idea for the bow is to start with a pointed end and then we're going to slowly increase in width. So these increases we're going to be doing using half double crochet increases. I'll show you how to do those, but first we are going to chain two. So that's one and two. And we are going to be skipping this first stitch from the hook and doing a half double crochet increase in the second stitch. So I yarn over, I insert my hook in the second stitch, yarn over and pull through, and then pull through all. And then I yarn over, insert it in the same stitch again, yarn over and pull through all. So let me just show that again to get a better idea. We have two stitches. So we chain two and we do a half double crochet increase in the first stitch that we did. So I yarn over, insert my hook, pull up a loop and pull through all, and then I do another half double crochet in the same stitch. So now you can see that we have a total of two stitches here. Now in both these stitches we are going to be doing half double crochet increase. So two half double crochets in the first stitch and two half double crochets in the second stitch. Before that we are going to chain one, yarn over, turn our work and do the first half double crochet in the first stitch, another half double crochet, so that's a half double crochet increase, and then we are going to do the same in the second stitch as well. So now you can see that we had two stitches, and after doing increases in both those two stitches we have a total of four. So the basic idea for increasing the width is that we do a increase in the corner stitches. So for this row, since we had only two stitches, we did an increase in both. But now for the next row, since we have four stitches, we are going to be doing an increase in the first stitch and an increase in the last stitch, that is a fourth stitch. So I'm going to chain one. So the chain one is just a turning chain and it does not count as a stitch. Then I'm going to yarn over, turn my work, and in the first stitch I'm going to be doing a half double crochet increase. So I insert my hook, pull up a loop and pull through all three, and then I yarn over again, insert my hook into the same stitch, pull up a loop and pull through all. So this is a half double crochet increase. Now in the next two stitches I'm going to do two half double crochets. So that's one and two. Now in the last stitch right here, it's a little hard to point out. I'm going to be doing a half double crochet increase again. I do one half double crochet and in the same stitch I'm going to be doing another. So as you can see, we had four stitches in our previous row, but now we have a total of six stitches. So we're going to keep doing the same pattern. So I'm going to chain one, that's a turning chain, yarn over, turn my work. In the first stitch, I'm going to do a half double crochet increase. So that's the second stitch. And then in the next four stitches, I'm just going to do one half double crochet in each. So that's one. Now we have four half double crochets, and then in the last stitch, it's kind of difficult to point out the last stitch, but in the last one right here, this little loop right here, pull up a loop and do a increase in that stitch. So now you can see that by every row, the width of the bow is increasing, and we are going to follow the same pattern. So we do a half double crochet increase in the first stitch and the last stitch, and you do this only till you get your desired width. So I think I'm going to do one more row like this, that is a half double crochet increase in the first stitch and last stitch. So chain one, yarn over, turn your work. In the first stitch I do a half double crochet increase, and then I do half double crochets in the next stitches till I reach my last stitch. So for this row, I had to do a total of 6 half double crochets, and then in the last stitch here I'm going to be doing a half double crochet increase. So that's 1 and 2. So I think I am happy with this width for the entire bow. So now I'm just going to chain 1. So if you want the width of the bow to be bigger, you can continue doing rows like this more. So you just have to do half double crochet increase in the first stitch and last stitch. And in the center stitches, that is the stitches in between the first and last, you just have to continue doing normal half double crochets. And once you reach your desired width, you're just going to chain 1, yarn over, turn your work, and we are going to do half double crochet in all the stitches. There's going to be no increase, just regular half double crochet in all of the stitches. So one thing you have to make sure is that the number of stitches that you do once you start your first regular row or the first row without any increases has to be same to the stitches that you did in the previous row. So previous row I had 10 stitches, so I have to make sure I have 10 half double crochets in my next row. So you can keep doing the rows of increase till you reach your desired width, and once you reach your desired width you just have to continue doing rows of half double crochet. So I chain 1, turn my work, and I continue doing rows of half double crochet till I reach my desired length for the bow. So however long you want the bow to be, it's completely up to you. And once you reach your desired length, I'll meet you and I'll show you how to get this on the other end as well. So for that we have to do decreases, but I'll show you how to do that. For now, just crochet rows of half double crochet till you reach your desired length. One little tip to check if you have gotten your desired length is once you crochet a few more rows and you think that this length is enough, just tie a bow with the length that you have and see if it looks the way you want it to. Once you're done crocheting a few more rows, just tie a bow and see if that is the desired length and width you want for your bow. So you can get an idea of how many more rows to crochet or less, or any adjustment that you have to make. So here I'm done crocheting the length of the bow that I want. I did around 68 rows, and that is not including the ends right here. So here, as you remember, we did increases on every corner stitch. So if we have 3 stitches in total, we did increase on the first and the last stitch of every row till we got our desired width. Now we are going to be doing decreases in the first 2 stitches and the last 2 stitches. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So once you're done with your last row, you're going to chain 1, yarn over, and turn your work. Now you are going to insert your hook through the first stitch, pull a loop, and then you insert your hook through the second stitch also and pull a loop, and then you yarn over and pull through 2 loops and yarn over and pull through all. So this stitch right here is a decrease stitch. You're going to do this stitch for the first 2 stitches and the last 2 stitches, and the stitches in between we are just going to do half double crochets. So here I'm back on the last 2 stitches, so I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into the first stitch, pull through, and then insert my hook into the last stitch right here and pull through, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops and pull through all. So you can see that the width has decreased a little bit compared to our previous row. So we're going to follow the same pattern. So I'm going to chain 1, yarn over, turn my work, and the first 2 stitches I'm going to be doing a decrease. So I insert my hook, pull up a loop, and then insert my hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and then pull through the rest. And then I do half double crochets till I reach the last 2 stitches, and then in the last 2 stitches I'm going to do a decrease again. So yarn over, insert my hook and pull up a loop, and then insert my hook in the next stitch and pull up a loop, pull through 2 and pull through all. So you can see that this was originally our width, and doing the decreases has reduced our width. So I'm going to chain 1 again and follow the same pattern. Okay, so for this row you can see that we have only 4 stitches. So I'm going to be doing a decrease in the first two and the next two. Since we have only 4, there's not going to be a regular half double crochet. So I insert my hook into the first stitch, pull up a loop. I insert my hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2 and pull through all. I repeat that for the next 2 stitches as well. So insert, pull up a loop, and then pull up a loop, pull through 2 and pull through all. So now you can see that we have only 1 stitch left. So I'm just going to chain 1 and fasten off. So after you fasten off, just pull this end really tight together and just trim it off at the end like this. Do the same with the other side as well. Just pull it extremely tight and trim it off. Now once you are done with this, grab the bag of your choice. So I'm going to be using this bag that I have crocheted. I have put up a tutorial for this as well. So I want the bow right here. So I just put it like this and I make 2 bunny ears and I cross them and I pull one like this and just tie it, and I'm going to adjust it a little bit, and after adjusting, this is how it looks. So now you can put this on any bag you want. You can make it smaller, you can make it bigger, you can make it maybe less thick or more. It's completely up to you. You can adjust it a little bit more to make it look better, and this is how it looks in the end. So you can also use this bow as a hair accessory, like a hair scarf or anything like that, since it's completely customizable, and instead of tying it here, you can tie it on your hair also, and I think it'll look really pretty. So here we are done with the bow.